Feel the power of the wind here on Lake Wanting, 3 hours northwest of Beijing. These giant spinning blades of this wind farm represent the formidable power and commitment of the Chinese government to renewable energy. Hello, I'm Grainger.
As the world faces an energy crisis, China is taking big steps to increase its renewable energy supplies, cut pollution and address climate change. Already China is the world's biggest producer of renewable energy. But with a population of 1.4 billion people and rising fast, the country is taking even more aggressive measures. The urgency with which China is moving to renewable energy is driven by the pollution problems that China has encountered, as China watcher Jeff Raby explains.
How bad the situation is can only really be understood by being there. It is bad. The good thing is the government has now taken this problem very seriously, taken it to heart, done so because it's seen as a major source of dissatisfaction amongst China's burgeoning middle class. And so they're responding to the needs of people and the wishes of people. And a lot's happening. Coal-fired power stations in the major cities are being converted into gas-powered stations. The electric vehicle investment is starting to ramp up quite substantially. And I think that you'll see in a number of years the pollution problem starting to significantly abate. I'm an economic optimist on most of these things. Economic growth provides the resources to solve the problem, and as people become wealthier, they demand of their governments to fix these problems. And I think you see that every day in China now.
Ahead, we'll see how China has become the world leader in renewable energy. We'll visit a major global leader in solar panels. Tour a major wind farm and its power plant. Inspect one of China's biggest hydroelectric dams. See how big plants are converting garbage into electricity. And watch the revolution in alternative fuels. Future energy, featuring in this episode of Futuristic China. An increasing amount of the Chinese countryside these days is covered by solar panels just like this. Now these days, 11% of China's total energy usage is covered by renewable energy. The Chinese government is investing big money, huge money, into renewable energy so that by 2030, total energy usage will have risen to 20%. What vast arrays of solar panels and other renewable energy suppliers are addressing is China's huge appetite for power. More than 2/3 of the world's primary power is used in China, while the country remains the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases. The number of solar panel producers in China is growing strongly, with more than 400 Chinese companies now in the business, including China's first solar panel producer, Yingli. For this long-term player, there's a certain military discipline in the air at their vast factory in the city of Baoding, 3 hours south of Beijing. For a long time, Yingli was the world's #1 manufacturer, time that has allowed them to develop a wide range of solar-powered products, including torches and batteries. Yingli General Manager Wang Gang is full of praise for the substantial government grants that allowed them to commence production 2 decades ago.
Yingli is the first Chinese factory, and we call factory, to manufacture the solar modules. I remember in 1998, so at that time, the Chinese government gave us some support for this a tough time.
A very timely start to begin producing solar panels, very, very timely, given what's happened with the environment, because this is now a world focus, very much a big focus here in China, and Yingli has been able to capitalise on that.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's really for the solar. I think the solar electricity is good to the environment, no doubt. At that time, almost all export to Europe, with our market about 97% abroad.
What are you doing in terms of research and development?
10 years ago, almost $4 US per watt.
And now?
Now only 0.3, 0.35, 10 times down, about 10 years. I think this contribution from the not only Yingli, maybe many factories from China and all the world to give more development for the technologies to reduce the price, the cost.
So let's look at some Yingli figures. How many people do you employ these days?
30,000,
What value does Yingli have these days?
nearly 20 billion.
That's $4 billion US dollars. That's a very substantial capital. You're a big business. So what do you attribute the great success of Yingli as a business?
The first one in China to do this business also have a very good team, not only Chinese people, some guy from US, European countries, even Australia, and a very good team. And also we have a very good culture.
How much wattage are you producing in your factory every day?
That 10 megawatt per day.
Okay, so this is a very, very big production.
Yeah, at the beginning, every year, 1 year, we only produce 3 megawatt per year at the beginning. But now 1 day, 10 megawatt, 3 times then per year.
So what about company philosophy? Do you have a mantra, a philosophy for your staff?
I think we can explain how to your employees as these 3 like. One is like family, another like military, the third like school. That is our philosophy.
So you want to get better at your technology, make the machines cheaper and more efficient. You want to look after your staff and you want to look after the environment. Such as Yingli's commitment to employees and their families, they've built a big theme park with exotic African animals. And themed dinosaur exhibits. They're also building a new village in Yixian County, which will generate its own electricity and be carbon neutral. One of Yingli's innovations is to create glass panels with these solar arrays that they use to clad their buildings, their walls, their roofs, and to produce enough electricity to heat and cool their buildings and to feed back into the grid. Solar vehicles are another Yingli innovation. Cars and battery bicycles that are powered by the sun. Even the golf buggy used to get us around Yingli headquarters. Now we notice at your factory you've got a car that's got a solar panel on the top. Is this for production?
Yeah, it's our future production. As we cooperate with some car factories together, we want to do some more, not only like the solar plant, to do some things as the car to use solar electricity. Now we just developed this one.
So you're seeing the solar panel on top. It's generating electricity. Electric cars are, in fact, the vehicles of the future, are they not? And so a solar panel, a Yingli solar panel on the top of a vehicle, that's very much an exciting prospect for the future.
I hope so.
China is a clear leader in wind power generation. There are more wind turbines here in China than anywhere else on Earth, and that number is growing rapidly. Wind farms are being erected at a staggering rate across China, with their output being more than doubled in the 5 years to 2020. By that time, wind power will account for 6% of China's total electricity generated. At Lake Guanting, 2 hours west of Beijing, the shores are lined with 124 wind towers. Chief engineer is Zhu Zhengchao.
Where we erect each wind generator has been carefully calculated to get the highest wind speed. The position of each windmill should ensure it reaches its optimal power generation. As a result, we line up the windmills along both the south and the north banks of Huanting Lake. Using terms from the world of wind farms, it's called micro-sitting selection. Every windmill was positioned through precise calculations so that it can generate maximum power. The capacity of one single windmill is 1,500 kilowatts per hour, and that is, when the wind speed reaches 12 meters per second, a single windmill can generate 1,500 kilowatts every single hour.
And all over China, more and more wind turbine stations starting all the time.
Yes, now that clean energy is developing on a large scale, including wind power and photovoltaic power. For instance, wind power is being developed extensively because wind energy is clean energy. Both wind power and photovoltaic power are pollution-free. Wind power generation is not as stable as thermal power, since it relies on the wind. When the wind is blowing at its strongest, more power will be generated. Less wind means less power.
So many, many more wind stations opening across China.
Yes, currently every province and city is building wind power stations.
You make your living from the wind. How do you feel about the wind?
We like wind, because when there is wind, we can generate power.
Hydroelectricity is China's biggest source of renewable energy. Right now we're on the Min River in central Sichuan province. This is one of 27 dams already completed or being built. This one providing both water and electricity to the capital of Chengdu. The Three Gorges Dam spanning the Yangtze River is the world's largest power station by far. And yet it's one of only 87,000 dams in China. With vast mountain ranges and numerous rivers, China has the largest potential in the world for hydropower. Hydro dams now generate 16% of China's electricity. In Sichuan province, the Zhengpu Dam and hydro station supplies both water and electricity to much of the province, including the capital Chengdu. The original dam was built here 2,000 years ago, with the new dam and its water electricity supplies vital to the region.
Water is the first element to Jiangdu, a city of abundance. With the construction of the Dujiangyan Water Conservation Project, Jiangdu has been getting good water supplies. 2,000 years ago, Li Bing and his son built the first Dujiangyan Dam. Since then, Jiangdu has had no flood damage, but has been blessed with rich natural resources. A good water supply has allowed food suppliers to meet the public demand. As well, water has irrigated the crops for raw material and ingredients for making meals. Therefore, when Chengdu people enjoy their beautiful food, it is actually the result of the great Dujiangyan Water Conservation Project.
Well, natural gas is another fuel of the future here in China. Consider this, we're in the bowels of a big city office block in the middle of Beijing. This unit here is taking natural gas. It's come all the way from areas as far away as Kazakhstan, up in Russia. This is converting that natural gas into electricity. Another unit here doing the same thing. And this unit over here is creating heating in the middle of winter and cooling in the middle of summer, servicing more than 10,000 people. China's consumption of natural gas is surging as Beijing authorities curb the use of coal. Prices are skyrocketing, with China importing 85% of its LNG from Australia and pipelines laid into Myanmar and eastern Russia. Natural gas will soon account for 1/10 of China's energy needs, with individual apartments and office buildings across China installing their own control rooms. Beijing Enterprises is one major player in the natural gas field, supplying services to 29 provinces, like this control room, and servicing 25 million gas users.
We have two subsidiaries to supply natural gas. One is the Beijing Gas Group, and the other is the China Gas Group. These two companies supply natural gas to more than 200 cities throughout China. In Beijing, apart from using gas for cooking, most gas is used for heating and generating power. This has saved a lot of coal. In fact, replaced coal. It's played an important role in improving the environment and eliminating smog.
Natural gas, yet another of China's future energy sources. One giant Chinese conglomeration that's powering ahead in so many critical areas like new technology, water management and electricity generation is Beijing Enterprises. They're like a giant octopus with tentacles in so many diverse areas. In the area of waste and electricity, Beijing Enterprises has built this supersized facility on the outskirts of Beijing. The Beijing Goan Twin Waste-to-Energy Plant. Its job, to convert the city's garbage into electricity. Chief engineer is Li Huang.
We just treat the waste using the incinerator and waste heat boiler and turn it into steam and then use the steam turbine to generate power. We call this waste to energy.
Waste to energy, and it's a concept that has two benefits as I see it. Number one, you're reducing pollution, you're getting rid of all that rubbish, burning it off. And two, you're generating electricity.
Yes, that's it.
And so how many homes would benefit from what you're doing in this operation?
I think for this plant, it generates 720 megawatt hour of the electricity, while with 15% of them is for self-use and the rest will sell to the power grid. So it's around 5,000 homes.
The process here starts when loaded garbage trucks arrive to be weighed. The government pays them to take that waste. The trucks then back in and unload. Inside, a hall bigger than an Olympic stadium. Two Star Wars-like contraptions are manoeuvred together to swoop and pick up some 8 tons of rubbish at a time. That is then dumped into an incinerator that burns constantly. The steam generated then powers giant turbines, which in turn generate electricity. A gigantic enterprise. Waste to energy.
This station is built in 2008. It's a project for the 2008 Olympic Games held in Beijing. The flue gas cleaning system can remove the hydrogen, chlorine, sulfur dioxide, dust, dioxin, and heavy metals from the flue gas and then goes to the stack. Emission limits can meet the requirement of the EU regulation.
So it's a clean power station?
Yes, it's clean.
So a station like this very friendly to the environment?
Yes, we do think so. Only because, the flue gas emission is lower, the energy is used, and there's no other bad impact on the environment, while with limited occupation of land.
Green energy is also powering cars of the future. Take this Tesla, running on electricity derived from a process whereby methanol and water are mixed in a methanol reformer to produce hydrogen that in turn generates electricity. We're at the Guangdong Hydrogen Energy Company, watching cars refuel this way. Company chairman Edward Huang says all his cars, including the Tesla, use the methanol to hydrogen formula.
This car usually before as the new green car, with our reformers, we turn like the methanol and the mixture of the water into the hydrogen, and then with our technology, fuel cell technology, turn hydrogen into the electricity. Therefore, for this car is totally green. very environmental friendly. Also, the gas is very affordable. It's only 1/4 and 1/3 of the general, petrol.
This methanol to hydrogen to electricity fuel has distinct advantages.
Not only cheaper, also very environmental friendly. There are no PM 2.5 particles emissions. It's very clean.
What you're doing in the factory is taking the methanol from what source? Where are you getting the methanol?
Actually, there are different sources we can get methanol. One is directly from the coal, and the second we can from the biogas, bio waste. All those bio waste from the cities we can turn into the methanol.
Already, Edwards' company is producing fuel cells powered this way in remote communication towers right across China. So in generating electricity, the first thing you're doing is generating electricity for telecommunications towers?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, telecommunication tower is one of our niche market. Therefore, we supply some remote area, there are no grid. Therefore, we supply electricity for those towers as the major power.
So where there's no grid, you'll take in your batteries, you'll take in the methanol fuel, and basically you're powering up those telecommunications towers in very remote regions off the grid.
Yeah, because those remote areas, they do have some people who need telecommunications, and they need to use a cell phone or talk with the people, some emergency, some issues. Therefore, they do need those signals. Therefore, we supply the power to help them to generate the electricity and maintain the stations operating.
Future energy is very much what you're focused on.
Yeah, exactly. We will call the future, like the methanol economy, would be the bright future of all the energy area.
There's no doubt that China has an insatiable and growing need for power of all types. For electricity, China uses almost 40% of world consumption. China's booming economy needs lots of power to keep its manufacturing muscle flexing. The world's fastest growing major economy is still remarkably stable, despite a slowdown.
Does China see a gap in world leadership, and not just in the climate change area, but also in terms of trade liberalisation? And it's an opportunity for China to become much more of a world leader and world player. Yes, I think that China sees an interesting moment now, one that I think they were not expecting or anticipating, where the US has stepped back on some of these big global issues, climate change, free trade, and an opportunity for China to step in and show world leadership in these areas.
Undoubtedly, China's rapid expansion of renewable energy facilities is part of President Xi's push for an energy revolution. It is certainly accelerating the global push away from fossil fuels. When next we look at futuristic China, we'll focus on transport. From China's space program to its new venture in building passenger jets. From high-speed trains to the vehicle revolution, electric and driverless. All ahead as we travel into futuristic China, meeting China's top business leaders.